Pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hopefully everybody had a chance to read the minutes from the last meeting. Motion to accept. Second, okay, very good. Any discussion, changes, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's jump right into PS1. Resolution authorizing the execution of a renewal agreement with NYCC SMS and/or WellPath LLC concerning the provisions of medical services for the Oswego County Correctional Facility. Motion? Motion. Second? Seconds. John, who's carrying this?
Okay, it's basically an extension to our current WellPath, just to go through the end of December, so that we will then be on track to always renew it at the beginning of the budget year. It'll just keep all our numbers to be year to date from December to January all the time and not mid-year. So going to extend that from now, and then we have the numbers that we use in 2026 budget.
Any questions? Yes, sir.
How does the program work? Are you happy with the way they handle the services?
We've been extremely happy. I think we're doing much better care for the inmates. We've had way less trips back and forth to the hospital with the inmates because they're getting treated within our facility as opposed to going out.
Very good.
As a matter of fact, we just recommended them. Like to get some more of the counties using WellPath also, so that they can share medical providers. So, Tennessee County thought that they helped us. Or sheriff's departments pick them up. More resources.
Less lines. Yes, that's a good lot less concerned about issues.
Anybody else? Mr. Castillo.
What year did we start contract? This should be our first full year. It's only been really one.
We've had them about 2 years. First year, it took them some time to get the right people in the right spots.
Right.
And now they've got all their positions pretty much full. If they have a vacancy, it fills right up. So I believe this would be our third renewal. Renewed it once. Running 5-year contract.
I mean, the reason I asked, you guys kind of covered what I was going to ask. There really hasn't been any medically, issues, and I think that's why we went with them, because we didn't have,
The current administrator,
we had a hard time getting people.
yeah, we have an RN, that's the administrator. He's very good. He's on top of it. We also have 24-hour coverage. So when somebody comes in the middle of the night, they're being treated, looked at, say if they take to the hospital or not. Overall, much better care.
Thank you.
Any other questions? None, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Let's move on to PS2, resolution authorizing the approval of Oswego County's 2026 Stop TWI plan and determining the legislature to authorize to execute any related documents. Any motion?
Second.
Motion, multiple seconds. Okay. Anybody here for probation? Oh, okay. I knew David was on vacation.
Yes, Stacy Lighthouse.
Any questions for her about this? We got to do this, renew this every year. So, is there any questions? It's just a renewal here. We got to send it back to the state. Any issues? Good. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Thank you, Steve. PS3, resolution authorizing budgetary modifications for Sheriff's Office overtime road patrol. Can I get a motion?
Make the motion.
Seconds. Thank you. Anybody?
It's moving money to overtime. One of the main reasons we've got the problem with overtime is that even though we have 8 positions filled, they've been in the academy since they've been hired. They will be out on the road on their own in February. These bodies kind of short from transport and different things. That's going on.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Castillo.
With those 8, is that going to bring you fully manned, or are you still going to be short after that,
We're
that's
short.
where they come on board.
We're short 3 right now, I believe. We know at least 2 leaving early, between now and early next year. Looking for at least 5 again for the next academy.
So even with these 8, we're gonna be 5 short.
We're going to wind up by February, probably at least 5.
Thank you. Speaking of that, you can come to the academy with the graduation for that, so we can announce it.
October 17th.
It's
Friday, October 17th.
at the church.
Yes.
All right, great. So everybody can put that on the calendar if they're going. Just wanna make sure we have that. Okay, so any other questions about overtime road patrol? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, motion carries. PS4, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Sheriff's Office, transfer from Insurance Recovery, Treasurer's Office to Automotive Supply and Repair, Road Division. Motion for discussion. Seconds. Any discussion? Right.
I'm looking to see what the insurance costs have gone up in the automotive for the past, since 2014 to 2025. What our insurance rating might be.
Carry that information.
Sorry, what's
Bill would be able to get
the question?
insurance costs, auto insurance costs over the past, since 2014 to 2025.
Yeah, I can get
And what our
that.
rating is
We
going.
can get that from our experience through the county attorney's office.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions? None, all in favor? Opposed, motion carries. PS5, resolution authorizing the execution of a First Amendment to a tower lease agreement with Bell Atlantic Mobile System LLC, doing business as Verizon Wireless, 11 East 11th Street Tower, City of Oswego. Can I get a motion? Seconds. Kevin?
So this is requesting, we've been in agreement with Verizon. They've been using our Oswego City Tower site for 20 years now. And this actually is a very messy lease that we're cleaning up a ton of. It started off as an agreement that Verizon would build the tower on our property, allow them to use it at a discounted rate, so we're correcting that now. Right now, this year we've been getting $12,000 from them going forward. We're going to be getting $30,000 from them. It also cleans up a back half that they had a provision in there that they would receive 50% of any additional co-locations on that tower site as well. T-Mobile, Sprint, originally Nextel, I should say, originally back in the day, was paying 50% directly to Verizon that we weren't, of the lease that we weren't getting. So we're going to be getting a full commercial rate from Verizon and also redoing the T-Mobile agreement on the back end of this as well. That will come through in the next month or two that will actually clear that up. So we're going to be seeing significant increase by moving forward with this agreement that they agreed to bring this up to current rating and all that stuff up. So it is a 5-year term with 3 options to renew, so it is another possibly 20-year term.
Questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
No.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we got a walk on PS6. Resolution authorizing budget modification for Sheriff's Office School Safety Program. Can I get a motion? Motion, got a second?
Yeah, just budget neutral. Superintendent Nevosi's asked for another SRO down at the, what's the name of the school? Bridges on 104 here, or on 48. It's, doesn't make it cost the county anything, they fully reimburse us.
Any questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's move on to reports. Oh, I'm sorry, we got 2 bids. EMO bid, decontamination trailer. Can I get a motion? Motion, second. All right, tell us about it.
Okay, well, I'll start with, this is coming out of our operational budget. So this is kind of a way to move forward with our emergency preparedness goals. So this decontamination trailer is designed and used for our reception center, where at times, Mel's familiar with the location we currently have in the youth building, in order to provide decontamination for the reception center. We have that individuals climb a couple flights of stairs to get to that. There's also an elevator in the building. Sometimes that doesn't function very well as well. So we want to bring this all down to the base level and actually offer it as a unit that we can pull into the building, but also it's versatile, so we can move it if we have to move out of the building somewhere else. With that being said, it can also be used for emergency services and hazardous environment. It's a fully enclosed trailer with 2 ADA accessible bays. With that, there's also another piece of it that it supports is for our Red Cross. When we're setting up a shelter facilities, we struggle sometimes to be able to provide certain shelters that don't have shower facilities. So we're very limited in what we could use that for. So this could be actually deployed to those locations too, as we tend to use schools as a place for shelters, and we know that if schools in session, we use that. So this is kind of a, I'll say a checklist bucket list item for me of something that I think would deployable into the county and very useful. We did not go with the lowest bidder from an ADA compliance standpoint. The second lowest bidder actually met all those specific parts for functionality. It has a hydraulic system, so it lowers to the ground. That way we're not rolling potential people in wheelchairs up ramps. So also provides for a disrobing area that the lowest bidder did not. So I would answer any questions to this.
I
I'm
just
very excited about.
have one. It sounds great. I'm all for it. But was the ADA requirement put out in the bid?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
they came back. Some people came without it.
Yeah, the lowest bidder had their ADA compliance was it had ramps that folded down that you would have to roll. And we're looking at the general public is what we're focusing this for. So we would be rolling individuals in wheelchairs. And I watched legislator Karasik come up this back stairwell with his wife pushing him up just that small incline, and that was hard. So if you're pulling someone with a wheelchair up to a decontamination trailer, not providing with an area to disrobe to enter a trailer, that's more of a hazmat incident kind of trailer. So we were trying to find something that was more fully functional for and inclusive to the general population. Just, people struggle with that as well. So
Any other
meeting the access and functional needs.
Excellent.
How large is it?
It's 14 foot.
14 foot?
Yep.
I was looking, I just.
Yeah, and I was surprised it came with a single axle because most of them have the dual axle, but the single axle, it's got 2 stalls. So if you come in on one side, there's a area to change into the shower, an area to put new changings on, and then come out the other side of the truck. So, unfortunately, we went out to 9 different companies. I think we had 5 total bids, but this particular company's out of Canada. They were the only one that spot on met everything that we were looking for. So.
It's pretty small.
Yeah, I know,
It's pretty small.
which makes it easier. to
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? It's approved. All right, we got a second bid. I think it's for a truck for the sheriff. Motion. Motion. Got a second. It's a 2025 Ford F-150 Super Crew 4x.
Just updating vehicle, switching back to Ford from Dodge. We didn't have a lot of Dodge. Turning to the back.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? It's approved. All right, let's go on to department reports. Nate, you're up, buddy.
Good morning, everybody. EMS education, our class down in Phoenix, is still ongoing until December. Enrollment hasn't changed. Everyone's still rolling in that. It's going very well. As of last week, so it's on here, we just got a request from Mentor Ambulance to host a class that will run January to May. Mentor hasn't needed to do an EMT academy because they've been getting a lot of applications. So they have a lot of people who have been looking for an EMT academy. So the point of this class will be to pull some of those people who are interested in entering the workforce, giving them the training, and having the ability to then seek employment after. So that class will go January to May. We're working on getting the application to the state right now. And we're continuing to work with Workforce North and all that, and I assume for this next class, a lot of those people might be looking to get into the workforce that we're going to partner with them pretty closely on this next class as well. Still continuing to offer and support organizations with Stop the Bleed. SABAC at SUNY Oswego is doing a Stop the Bleed training later this week, so that we're helping support with some equipment. So if anyone wants anything to do with that, just let me know. Doing support where we can. It's been busy. Lots of, I'm sure Kathy will talk about the evaluations and drills and stuff that we've been helping support. And participated in the hazmat tabletop over at the Urgency Shane staff, and participated in a bunch of different council meetings, all that fun stuff. That's about it.
Thank you. Any questions for Nick? Moving on, Kathy?
Good morning again. So I'll just highlight a couple of things from our report, couple things that are not yet done. So we are hosting a public information officer course tomorrow. Tomorrow and Wednesday at the Building Information Center. We've got 23 individuals signed up for it, so that's a large group of people for public information. So it's good to see a bunch of different areas that are participating in that. We didn't meet last month, but we did have a successful state evaluated exercise on our radiological program. Next Tuesday is our evaluated exercise. I feel like we're pretty in good position for that, to have a good successful exercise. Last week was very busy for us. Along with that, we had 2 FEMA evaluated exercises for Mexico and Oswego School District, and they go to the schools and they talk about the radiological plans that they have, sure that they have the tools necessary to implement, if we were relocating students. Did a personal monitoring center exercise with the health department last Wednesday at the county highway facility in Parrish. Well, there we set up the facilities as if we would use it in a radiological incident. So try to do that yearly. So it's a large staff in the health department that support that. So we sincerely appreciate their participation. And then we had a FEMA evaluated exercise with the Oswego Hospital. Our handling of radiologically contaminated patients, that went very well as well. So I'm very busy with our rep program right now as we finish up the year. So trying to just continuous improvement and see where we can streamline processes. With that, a couple things that we worked on last week that aren't reg related. We were able to, the City of Oswego reached out to obtain a large size generator to support the wastewater facility because they had fixed repairs to the backup generator that they have. So the state actually did come through with a generator to help them while they made their repairs. So that was a request that we asked for the state, and they were able to support it. We also reached out. Shane had talked over some support from Novellis to help some lighting. The state approved it, but they couldn't come up with any of the resources available to help them. So even if they were a private industry, it was good to see that the state was willing to help get a large employer in the county back operational, but they weren't able to provide any resources. I think that they came up with a separate resource for that, and she might, talk about that a little bit. But definitely something that happy to see the state supporting more of our initiatives and requesting help for. That's all I got.
Any questions for Kat? None?
I apologize for not submitting a report this month, but call volume pretty much stayed the same about where it has been. We did have 93.32% of emergency calls answered within 15 seconds. We also increased to 119 remote drone flights, and 101 of those were actually on it. So we are seeing a pretty decent uptick in that. And that's largely because of having our pilots be able to sit in the positions now. So that's still just working off the Fulton site. This past week, we did training with UAIR to understand and know all of the restrictions and all of the guidelines and everything that go along with the UAIR program. So they're working on bringing up. They did some massive upgrades to the radar units, so they're waiting for one to be finished up. Should be done this week. That'll bring the system online for us, and then they're increasing their coverage to include a Baldwinsville site that will allow. That's what's going to bring in Phoenix, the southwestern portion of our county. So, so we've had some progress with that. We did receive some more equipment in. And working with the county attorney on some MOUs for location of that equipment out and about, and we've been able to do some test flights. Those 18 flights that weren't on incidents were test flights that were going to be in other areas, testing out boundaries across the lake and things along those ways. We just have to be careful until we bring that airspace monitoring up. But so some pretty good stuff on that. We did working on a training program for the advanced telecommunicators. We filled the 2 positions, promoted into the 2 advanced telecommunicator positions that you guys approved 2 months ago, and we backfilled the recruit academy with that for those positions, which is helpful. So we've had some good movement there, working through the training process and everything. We also need to get the new pilots certified with their Part 107 licensing, do additional in-service training and stuff for the drone program itself. So in the next couple of months here, we're definitely going to be seeing a pretty decent increase with that, with having coverage across all four ships, which is going to be excellent. We did had a lot of different things going on. Beyond the drone portion of things, the Moral Aware project is up and functional. We're working on a upgrade that's needed to the county camera system in order to be able to integrate into that system. I've had some discussions with the Oswego City Police Department about integrating their cameras into the Aware project as well. We're working on scheduling the advanced telecommunicators to and our admin staff to be able to start operating that software, which consolidates all of that information, the cameras, the ADL information, the call information, the radio information, everything that's coming across the CAD, all of that stuff into one picture to be able to get as much information as possible. So that's really exciting that we're very, very close on getting that up and working. The big thing that's holding us up really is I wanted to get the county cameras up and working first. So.
Just if I could encourage you, how do we get all that information and technology out to the guys in the field?
So
I'm just curious how all this fits in, right? So I know you get the information. How are we getting it to Don?
So that advanced telecommunicator that's working and looking at all that information, pulling all that stuff up, is providing that information to the first responders that isn't being put into CAD. I mean, even if it is being put into the computer-aided dispatch portion that's showing up in their vehicles, we're still giving them over-the-air reports and updates while they're responding to incidents. And we have had some instances where we've had larger instances or failure to complies and stuff that we've been able to have that we had one of those 2 positions that we currently have trained and operational. Those people were able to give additional information and updates to to be able to narrow some of that stuff down. There's one in Fulton where we were able to integrate the drone piece into that as well. That provided information. Their desk sergeant views that imagery as well as the telecommunicator that's in the 911 center, and information to them. Was also able to, pull that whole thing together and provide that information. So having that extra person in the dispatch center is what we're gathering that information and providing it back out over the air, because the deputies, the troopers, and the officers that are responding to incidents can't sit there and stare at their computer while they're driving 100 miles an hour, 2 minutes. So it's giving them that information over the air ahead of time. And then when they arrive on scene, having all that stuff, in their cars, prepared for them, to be able to look at it, start pull up the live imagery, and something like that going on is where we're starting to bring the whole thing full circle.
Good.
So we did do tactical. We didn't do tactical dispatch, but we did do on-site incident command support for the Novelis incident overnight, assisting Shane and Novelis with that incident, as well as dealing with a very large response from the 911 center itself. We've been continuing with our mental health support. We, this past month, started the process with building out our peer support program to all 4 of our dispatch shifts that are on. We've had volunteers for each of those shifts take some 911 specific peer support training and working through that process. So that's something that is obviously very, very important and something that we've got a good focus on. So we're making some progress there as well. Also was able to attend NISAC this past month. Thank you to attend the Public Safety Committee, and also was pretty happy to be part of the celebration for Bill getting voted in as the president of the association. So that's exciting. And then on the backside of that, next week is our New York State 911 Coordinators Conference. So I've been taking that type of information back to our group and preparing for that. Very busy next week. So.
Any questions for Kevin? Hearing none? Let's move on. Mr. District Attorney, how are you, sir? Anything for us?
Just very quickly. As we did last year, we had a number of instructional classes that we offered to law enforcement. We held those classes. I think the sheriff's department facilities that was able to participate with a number of law enforcement agencies that we work with. Sheriff's Department, Oswego, Police Department, Fulton City Police Department, New York State Police. All these instructional classes were under the auspices of the Fourth Amendment proper cause, instructed by AEA, Jim Dell from my office, as well as myself. Also, Jim Dell and I also participated in an instructional class for the cadets and cadets classes. That same week. So this all happened in the week of 15th and 19th. I also hosted, which was well attended by law enforcement that I just talked about, Walmart security officers. We have 3 Walmarts in our county. So it's very important for me to be in line with their new capabilities, their technology. Also know that working to make their security work by prosecuting those cases benefit our community. So we're taking it quite seriously. Those meetings were also attended by the Sheriff's Department of the FD and the New York State Police. So they were all well attended, well received, and it's just part of our district attorney's collaborative effort to collaborate with law enforcement that works in counties so that maintain security and protection of the community. That's it.
Questions? Mr. Castillo?
How long have we had the traffic diversionary program? Has that been a year now? The last time I asked a question about
May, June last year. Wasn't fully until probably end of this year.
I'm just looking for some feedback on what we've received, any other feedback that you've received on the program itself.
Feedback and
Well, from people using it, or also with how much money we brought in totally for the county. It gets split up. I know it gets split up. You only get a quarter of it.
All those numbers, by the way, are actually submitted to the Oswego County Treasurer.
Right.
We voucher everything. The treasurer, we get a report of the communities. We're on a quarterly basis. We tried to change that over to a monthly basis so that the vouchering system is efficient for all the parties. I don't have the exact numbers on me, so I don't want to.
But when does the quarter end?
So each of the quarters, they go by regular year, so January, February, March, April, May, June. We asked them to start paying this on a monthly basis after the second quarter. They had not, so they actually were going to be pay us for July, August. I don't know if they misunderstood us, but we made it fairly clear that when I say they, the company had made it clear that I wanted to be paid on a monthly basis so that I could voucher system up quicker on a monthly basis. It also is going to help us accounting-wise too, rather than have it on a quarterly basis, because next year, the payment for the last quarter didn't come until February this year. So we would like to be a little bit more budget-wise, but that's what everybody can. But I can tell you this, though, since we've implemented this, the use of it has actually been fantastic. It provided access, actually, the company donated to kiosks that are sitting in front of the district attorney's office. So, and we have a lot of people that come to our office to use those kiosks if they want a place to sit, et cetera. So we've been very open to people have been very supportive of the program, and we've allowed them to take classes in our office or other areas in the using those kiosks. I can tell you that we've developed that portal into a traffic ticket portal where all traffic tickets have been downloaded through that system. So it's more than just diversion. Diversion is a program that, at my discretion, that allow an individual to declare use. So we through that company, they've allowed us to use their website to use it as a dispositional portal for us, so that we can get out dispositions quicker via electronic means through by email to the court system, to the defendant, or their counsel. So it's actually been more efficient, getting more efficient. It's not exactly 100%. There's always a couple of twitches that happen with every electronic website type of situation. I can tell you the company works with us. They take suggestions. We're fine-tuning it every month, every week. So, as an example, at one point in time, we're 5 pages of dispositions behind. That's approximately 10 per page. And sometimes we were 10 to 13 pages behind. Now we've got it down to 2 pages. So we're getting out dispositions, we're getting them out efficiently and quicker. Actually, has been more efficient for prosecution side here, rather than dedicating a number of ADAs to a number. Village and county there's 26 various forces which have jurisdiction for traffic infractions, which are very different. So I think we're getting them out quicker, getting them out faster, getting more efficient. Can we be more efficient? Absolutely. I'm working on it. So as far as numbers, those numbers are all filed with the county treasurer. I could come up with a synopsis.
I'll get with the treasurer on that. Now, refresh me, please, on, say, somebody that doesn't have the ability to go into the diversionary program, which means monetarily. Okay. Whether they're not, they're monetarily, they can't afford an attorney. What are their options?
They get extensions till they are able to enter into the program if they so choose, or they can alternative disposition and then deal with paying a fine or surcharge like any other individual with the town or village board in the city of.
There's no other.
City Fulton or Oswego.
Right. There isn't anything else offered to them, okay, in talking with you, and if they're not doing anything like that.
If they're traffic infractions, right. If they're misdemeanors, yes. Traffic infractions, no. Misdemeanors.
Misdemeanors. About traffic.
Misdemeanors normally are not part of it.
Right.
They are part of the traffic court. So there are different programs, and that's why I've invited all the town and village magistrates to my office in their person to understand. We've done that twice. It's been very low turnout for the magistrates. However, the people who did show up really enjoyed us showing them what the program was. We also invited the town supervisors. We had a fairly decent turnout for that, and it has nothing to do with other than the mechanics of the program. We don't talk about defendants or anything like that.
you know that I've never been a supporter of.
I never realized that, you know.
You did think that, huh? But, I mean, in the case, the incident I'm talking about is that it's more or less, if you got money, you can get out of a ticket. If you don't have money, you can't. Either,
That's life,
yes. No, yeah.
You got money, you can't eat. You got money, you can. It's life.
Well,
It's
the
America.
thing is, if you got somebody that's on public assistance.
I disagree to a certain extent because it also requires somebody to be assertive enough to take an educational program as well that is included in the urgent program. So, I mean, I disagree to a certain extent.
I hear what you're saying. If I got the money and I'm gonna pay $300, to be able to get out of an infraction, okay, a beer ticket or something like that,
You're not
then yeah, I'm gonna go and take the class.
Correct.
Okay, but if I'm on public assistance, okay, and I get a ticket, I cannot come up with the $300.
Because you would have to pay a fine and surcharge.
But, but I can't go and, talk to you and get any way that we can get some help, but if you got money, you can get out of it. And if I got money, I'll get a lawyer, but you don't, and that's my issue with the program. Okay? And yeah, I've got individuals, I've had 2 individuals call me. One was very happy with the program, wanted to be able to get through it. The other one was an issue with being able to get into the program. We talked about that when that happened, and at the time, we were just getting started. Okay, and they were happy with it. But, now I got an individual calling me that they're not happy with it because they're trying to talk to you, but they can't. And they don't have the money to get into the program. They don't have the money to, get an attorney. So I'm just saying that, we're one of the poorest counties in the state. And yet we've got a program that helps the rich and famous, but not, and I'm saying if a guy, well, if you've got a lot of tickets, well, yeah, right, so you're not famous, but you got money, okay? If I got a ticket, yeah, I'd have $300 to pay to get out of it if I really was that worried about it. But if I'm not, if I don't have the money, I can't get out of it.
I think it's a fair system because a lot of people do not have to then retain an attorney. They can actually go through the process without retaining an attorney, pay that expense. So I think it's actually fair to the defendant, to the motorist. And I think it's, in my opinion, that's my opinion. Maybe not your opinion. I get it.
And perhaps using the day's pay to show up for court.
I hear what you're saying, and I still, the point, and there isn't anybody in this room that probably would have to, wouldn't be able to use that program. But there are a lot of people that are out there, that, especially in my district, that can't.
Well, we appreciate that. Just real quickly, let's move on. Hold on. I've had multiple questions about this, and it's the budgetary issue, right? We said that after a year of this fully operational, that we would go back and take a look at it, and make sure that the towns were being treated fairly, and we weren't costing them any money. And it's come up from other legislators. So maybe by next meeting, we'll take a look at that. So be prepared for discussion next week.
Just to answer that question, that's why I asked the town supervisors to come in and that they come in and said that they, after understanding the program, that losing is bad or above what they
Right. Which I suspect is not the case.
But again, we have to understand that it depends on how many tickets go up and down.
Right.
Number of
It's not
tickets
gonna
that are
be-
in that village
Exactly.
or city.
Okay, Mel?
One comment, I know about $300, somebody can't come up with it, but as I understand, I believe her name is Joanna in your office, she'll work with them.
Yes.
Yes, she will work with them. Okay, you don't have the money right now. Let's see if we can set up a plan so that you can.
In order to normalize extensions.
Yeah.
Grant.
Yeah, so that they're given time to be able to do that.
They're driving a car, insurance, you have to make a car payment. But, and I
Put gas in the car.
so, yeah.
But I mean, if they don't want to go through the diversion program, they have the choice of going to trial. Correct. Traffic trial?
Believe me, we've done a lot of them, we'll give them for trial.
Yeah. So they do have the choice of going
That's
and,
right.
but then they could get the
So
fees and fines.
And the website explains all the rights of the motorist as a traffic And you do not pay anything. So you download your ticket. There's no payment by downloading the ticket. We have to review that and then make a disposition decision. So there's no upfront payment.
Can I address the reality in this situation? Because I was going to address it when I was asked to speak. I had a meeting with the DA the other day, because our cap, as we know, from day one, is done at the debacle, and it still remains that way. So we sat down and looked at it, and it turns out about 90% of our cases, arrests made, or people are given appearance tickets to show up in cap court are for aggravated unlicensed operation. That's 90% of our cases, arrests that we make. And the reason that's happening is under new state law, if you don't show up, you can't be issued, no warrant can be issued for you. People just don't show up for court. That's why we have people with 5, 6, 15 revocations on their licenses. There's no fine, or if a fine is issued, if you don't pay it, there's no penalty. So if somebody doesn't show up in court, the court is required to issue a letter. If they don't show up after that letter, we're required to send a second one. And then the judge can issue a warrant. And people just are ignoring it. So that's the reality of it. This is created by Albany. And it's such a waste of time for us as law enforcement, the DA's office, and the court system. And it's the reality of where we are.
And to be clear on that, it's in regards 90% of our appearance tickets. So you get an aggravated unlicensed for instance, it's a misdemeanor, aggravated unlicensed second misdemeanor, you get an appearance ticket through cap court, you get file those with me. But they're actually, because we don't have a clerk for cap court, so they come up with all these intricate systems that somehow involve the district attorney and the clerk's job all the time. But that being said, as well as the sheriff's department, because they took on a burden for this too, because we don't have a clerk for cap court. But 90% of those are aggravated unlicensed thirds. You give an appearance ticket, nobody shows up at cap court. And then, as the sheriff stated, sent letters. Please come to court. Send it over to the jurisdictional court. Please come to court. If they don't come to court on the aggravated unlicensed, what can they do? They can suspend their license. Well, the license is already suspended. Okay, so it's really not a penalty anymore. So, but that, we're off base at this point. I just explained that whole issue round and round.
So I guess my point is, right, if one of your constituents is worried about their not being able to come up with the money to pay the fine, just don't pay it. I hate to say that as a sheriff, just don't pay it.
And Sheriff, and you know, and I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't know. So I agree with New York State with their, catch and release and any of the other issues that they just created for us. Okay? No, I don't. Okay? And yeah, so I think if you pull somebody over and they don't have a license and their car is not a license, then you know what? You impound the damn car and you take them, with it. But that is, the state set that up.
There's no taking them down with it.
Right.
You give them another ticket.
Well, you take the car. But I'm just saying, this is something that we set up, and but I don't want to take any more time. But thank you very much. Okay. But, thank you.
There's been a lot of questions about this.
Well, I just, all right, let's agree with it.
All right, we understand. Let's move on. All set? Next report. Don, you're up next.
We already spoke. 18th is a graduation or the 17th rather, for graduation for the police academy for the 8 new deputies and other agencies. I want to thank everybody who showed up for the Kayla Campbell Memorial Breakfast. It was a huge success. The family was very pleased to have that instead of another event where they go and it's all sad and everything. But the family was there and they really appreciated everybody showed up. Thank you. And that, again, if anybody that's looking for a job, cap court clerk, about $8,000 a year start. They cannot find it. You got questions?
Any questions? No.
You can't find anybody for the cap court clerk
Well,
job.
it's a state court job, but
It's not us. It's the state. The state is looking. But they had posted.
yeah, no.
Mr. Sheriff, may I take some?
Gets on that witness stand and he just starts talking.
So, it's the state that's looking for the clerk's job. They, as far as I know, they had two people that interviewed, none of them take the job. I don't know if they requested. So,
Is this for Central New York?
or Oswego.
Oswego County?
Okay.
Do we have a time of the graduation? Around 1 o'clock?
Now, I'll have a
Put it out,
invitation.
message. Okay, great. Thanks.
Legislature.
Okay, we do have somebody here from probation. Do you have anything you'd like to say? You just skip over. It's up to you.
I
You're
can
prepared?
go, yeah, I've got the information here. So, I guess, the big things, our department has hired 3 new probation officers this year. They actually began fundamentals, of probation practice. That was to start off last week. When they finish that up, they're going to have to move on and do the basic course for, peace officer training. So that'll be coming up for them. In terms of our breakdown right now, the department had 687 individuals under some level of supervision or monitoring as of the middle of September. There were 49 investigations that were signed in August. The department had 11 individuals under our electronic monitoring program as of 9/16. This number kind of varies from month to month. As far as our pretrial release numbers, we've got 78 individuals that are being monitored under pretrial release. We have 73 ignition interlock conditional discharge cases that are being monitored. We have a grant for an interactive journaling program. So what that looks like is that we actually have an officer that goes down in the jail, and she runs a group for the men in the jail, and then several of us have, we work individual basis with several of the women in the jail. In terms of restitution, the department collected $32,721.37 in restitution. In August, we collected $2,525 for DWI supervision fees. We have currently 7 officers who are qualified and able to carry a firearm full-time. Special service officers execute our violation of probation warrants and conduct unannounced home visits with probationers. As of 9/16, we have 42 active violation of probation warrants. We also have alternatives to incarceration, so we receive state funding for the Enhanced Pretrial Release Program. And then as far as our Stop DWI program, we had a victim impact panel on August 20th. Our next one is going to be scheduled for October 15th. We are engaged in high visibility engagement campaigns, so the grant cycle has ended for 2024 and 2025, and we're waiting on information regarding our allocation for 2025-2026. In terms of what we're doing in the community, I've got summer driver's ed has wrapped up, and we're heading into the fall season. I've got some health classes coming up for that. We've got our New York State Highway Safety Symposium here in Oswego from October 14th through October 17th at the Lake Ontario Conference Center, and we are participating in the Civilian Academy as a center. So,
Okay, any questions? Frank?
With the 3 that you just hired, does that bring you up fully manned, or are you still short?
I actually can't, I don't honestly know what our official numbers are at this point. I apologize. I'm sitting here for Dave today. I don't know what our official account, what we're looking at.
Okay, thank you. Shane, you're up.
Activity for the month of August, we had 25 incidents, 7 structure fires, 4 hazmat, 1 fire investigation, 6 dive, 6 no response required, and 1 other. Got a list of classes there that you can see through the end of the year. That is changing. We're still adding to that. And classes taught at the training center, we've done 238 classes where we've interacted with 1,729 students and 972 instruction hours.
Tell us about Novelis. What can we do better? How can we help? What can we do?
From our standpoint, Kevin's, mine, Kathy's, we were all in touch that night. Kathy got a call from me at midnight. Kevin called me right after the dispatch. From our standpoint, we provided them everything we could do from a county standpoint. The volunteer fire departments and the career departments, I think the total was 27 total fire departments had some type of interaction with that incident, whether it be standby to cover departments that are here fighting the fire or other things that were going on. About 175 volunteer career firefighters on site. Investigation is still ongoing due to the purpose of the roof collapse. We can't get to the area safely, so, and they're working around the clock to get the roof taken off and put back on so they can start rehabilitating that area. But overall, it was a very well-run incident from the officers there, the fire chief. It went really well.
Nobody died, so that's a good.
Nobody got hurt and nobody died.
Okay. Any questions? Shane? Hearing none. Search and rescue. Anything?
As of the 15th of September, we had 46 year-to-date call-outs. Of that, it's broken down as 19 notifications and 27 activations. As far as subject categories, lost children, lost or missing children is the high mark, and then after that, it's autistic and dementia cases. We've had 8 year-to-date Project Lifesaver incidents, and we've also had 5 mutual aid incidents we've supported. We continue to promote Project Lifesaver through presentations and demonstrations in the county. We've had several members that were down in Cuyahoga County just this weekend with FedSAR, at a FedSAR meeting, and our members are preparing to support the FEMA radiological exercise on the 7th of October.
Thank you. Questions for search and rescue? Sure.
No question. I just wanted to say, appreciate what you guys do. You don't get a lot of recognition, but you do a good job. Thanks. Thank you.
We have seen some additions to the Project Lifesaver program from the presentations they've been doing lately as well. So it is definitely working, and they're hitting on the areas that we need to get into. So
Appreciate it. Thank everybody for all their job, particularly the departments here. Any new business? Any old business? Hearing none. Motion?
I got it.
Oh, you got something? Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Chair, thank you.